Part 38. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 371. Everyone looked for the sound and saw an old man who looked 79, similar to this person, stepping out of the void. Every time the old man took a step, dozens of snowflakes would fall under his feet, and he looked somewhat like an immortal. Clan leader. The great elder of the Snow clan looked at the old man in surprise. He had seen the portrait of the clan leader, and it was not much different from this old man. "Thank you for your hard work, leave the rest to me." Chi Tianhao nodded slightly towards the Snow clan elder. When he saw the old man, his eyes were cold. "Chi Tianhao, you are indeed alive. I came back to find you. Are you surprised to see that I am still alive? Without the help of the ice crystal pendant, I still broke through the limit." Chi Tianhao looked at his brother, a trace of recollection and a trace of regret flashed in his eyes. When the two brothers had a disagreement and fought, his younger brother was knocked off a cliff by mistake. He was so heartbroken that he secluded himself to practice and did not care about the affairs of his clan. Waking up from his memories, Chi Tianhao said softly, "Tianjia, whether you believe it or not, I am actually very happy to see you alive." "Bah, hypocritical. Stop pretending to me, do you really think I'm still a child?" Chi Tianjia's eyes were cold. "Hand over the ice crystal pendant, or I will kill them all. Senior, there is also a method of immortality." Mordekaiser seemed extremely excited at this time. The originally pale complexion now turned very rosy, as if the light was shining through. Longevity method. When everyone heard this word, they all looked at Mordekaiser in surprise. Aren't they here to find ways to prolong life? How did this become a method of immortality? Is there really such a method in this world? Everyone looked up at the two old men facing each other in the air. The lifespan of these two people is probably several hundred years old, which far exceeds the limit of human lifespan in this world. And judging by their appearance, they are still full of energy. Only Suren shook his head when he heard this word. There is no way to live forever. These two people can live so long beyond the life limit just because they broke through to the previous level. Mordekaiser seemed to have been deceived by this man. "Ha ha ha, stupid mortal, immortality method. Do you think there is such a thing? I just lied to you, and you really believed me. What? You bastard, you don't keep your promise." Mordekaiser pointed angrily at Chi Tianjia and yelled. "He has been searching for it for so long, and now he has spent all his money and worked hard to get here. Turns out it was all fake." Thinking about the little time he had left, how could Mordekaiser not be angry? Noisy. Chi Tianjia snorted coldly, pointed a finger, and a stream of light shot towards Mordekaiser. "Boss, be careful." A Biao flew forward and blocked the stream of light with his body. "Oh, stupid, can you stop me?" Chi Tianjia looked down contemptuously, and then stopped looking at them. Chi Tianhao seemed unwilling to hand over the ice crystal pendant, so he had no choice but to snatch it away. The stream of light shot by Chi Tianjia easily penetrated Abayao's body, and also penetrated Mordekaiser's body. "Abayao, why are you doing this? You still have a great time." After Mordekaiser finished speaking weakly, he fell to the ground. "Boss." Abayao looked at Mordekaiser's body with a sad face. He was an orphan since childhood and was adopted and raised by Mordekaiser. In fact, he has long regarded Mordekaiser as his father. Unfortunately, his strength is limited and he can no longer protect Mordekaiser this time. Abayao took one last look at Suren, who was sitting on the wolf's head in the distance, and then fell next to Mordekaiser. Suren looked at the scene with a flash of emotion in his eyes. Although the two of them had nothing in common, Suren didn't even know his full name. However, the two parties have been getting along for a while. This Chi Tianjia went too far. Chi Tianhao wanted to stop him, but it was too late. Seeing this, he couldn't help but said slightly angrily. Tianjia, you have become too violent. Haha, my dear brother, isn't this all your fault? Stop talking nonsense. If you don't hand over the ice crystal pendant today, I will kill you too. Chi Tianjia took action immediately after speaking. You all stay back. Chi Tianhao looked at the Snow Tribe people and those hired by Mordekaiser. This battle seems inevitable. The fight in the previous realm was so close that one would be accidentally injured. When everyone heard this, they quickly moved away from the two men in the air. This is too scary. Boom. The place where the two men met was filled with light, like lasers shooting towards the surroundings. When the snow rolled towards Suren, it was all broken and fell to the ground with a gentle push from Suren. They got all the money before they came, and now that Mordekaiser is dead, they have no employer and can only go back the way they came. At this time, everyone who was buried in the snow pushed away the snow and stood up to look at the battlefield. I think the Snow Clan's great elder is at least at the peak of rank 9. He was defeated in one move when he met Chi Tianjia. I suspect that their brothers have broken through the limit of rank 9 and reached a realm we don't know about. It should be safe here, right? What are the strengths of these two people? As for the others, they were relatively neutral. The matter between the two brothers had nothing to do with them. They were just watching the fun. What level of strength have these two achieved? Is there a winner? Who won? The Ice Wolf King looked at the young man above him in surprise. Ice Wolf King asked Suren. The people of the Snow Clan naturally hope that Chi Tianhao can win, because Chi Tianjia's character is obviously too violent. The location of the two of them had already been obscured by a blizzard and patches of black clouds. The surrounding snow exploded when encountering these streams of light. This scene is like the end of the world. In fact, they couldn't see the movements of the two at all. At most, they could only watch the skill exchange between the two to see which side had the upper hand. Sir, do you know? The Ice Wolf King also took Surensaya and ran away, reaching an extremely long distance before stopping. Suren replied lightly and looked at the two people fighting. After all, a person who dared to come to Swilling to cause trouble for the Snow Clan after being caught in one move cannot be justified if he has no strength at all. I just don't know where Chi Tianhao placed the ice crystal pendant. Two figures flew out from left to right. Where Chi Tianhao was, countless blizzards formed tornadoes and swept towards Chi Tianjia. It saw that Suren was calm from beginning to end, and secretly guessed that Suren's strength was probably not far from that of the two brothers. The onlookers all looked at the fight between the two in amazement. A loud explosion sounded in the center of the battlefield. The shock wave generated by the explosion rolled up countless snow and buried the people watching the battle in the distance. I don't think the moves of the 9th level professionals are as scary as them. If he wins, it will probably not be easy for them. A level higher than you. Chi Tianjia wants to snatch the ice crystal pendant, but Suren cannot let him succeed. This is what you want, and no one can take it away. The two sides fought for a while, and the color of the sky and the earth changed, and the earth shook. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 372. Ha ha ha, Chi Tianhao, with the ice crystal pendant, you are nothing more than this. Chi Tianjia wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He won this battle. With your timid and cowardly heart, what does it matter if you have the ice crystal pendant? You simply can't use it to gain stronger power and further improve your strength. Cough. Chi Tianhao spit out a mouthful of blood and looked at his brother in disbelief. I never thought he could become so powerful by practicing alone. If he had the help of the ice crystal pendant, he could indeed far surpass himself. However, he still couldn't give him this thing. Tianjia, I told you, you have no idea how terrifying the Sky Empire is. If you rush into the outside world, it will only lead to your premature death. Do you really think you can get out with this strength? When Suren heard this, he couldn't help but be stunned. These two brothers seemed to know about the Sky and Sky Empire. How did they know? Humph, Chi Tianhao, you are afraid of death. You can hide here for the rest of your life and they won't find you, but just because you're afraid of death, doesn't mean I'm afraid of death too. What's the point of living in this cage and living an ignoble existence? It's better to boldly go out and break into a new world. Chi Tianjia stretched out his hand and said coldly, hand over the ice crystal pendant. For the sake of brother, I can spare your life. My patience is running out. Don't challenge my patience again and again. Chi Tianhao sighed softly after hearing this. Then he reached for his arms. When Chi Tianjia saw his movements, he held his breath and stared at him. What he had dreamed of for many years was finally coming to him. His heart was beating wildly at this moment. I saw Chi Tianhao reaching out and groping for a moment, and he took out a palm-sized, crystal-clear white jade pendant. Inside the jade pendant, you can faintly see traces of purple gas flowing inside. Ice crystal pendant. Chi Tianjia roared and said urgently. Give it to me now. Chi Tianhao glanced at his brother and sighed again. Sorry Tianjia, I won't give it to you this time either. Huh? What did you say? Chi Tianjia was about to get angry. Frozen for thousands of miles. Chi Tianhao recited quietly. I saw the ice crystal god falling into Chi Tianhao's hand and emitting a white light that could penetrate the heaven and the earth. Then, with Chi Tianhao as the center, the entire world was frozen by the power of extreme ice. Everything in the world stopped, and everything was sealed by extreme ice, including the wind that was blowing just now. Suren, who was watching the battle from a distance, shook his head. The power of extreme ice melted around him instantly, and one man and one wolf were freed from control in just an instant. Fuck. The Ice Wolf King looked at the frozen world in shock, and then glanced up with two eyes. This human boy actually resolved such a terrifying move in an instant. It didn't seem to have any effect on him at all. The Ice Wolf King looked in the direction of the Snow Tribe people. Including the elder of the Snow Clan, everyone in the Snow Clan was also frozen. Chi Tianjia, who had the upper hand just now, was also sealed in the air by this move and could not move. Seeing this scene, the Ice Wolf King became even more afraid of the boy above him. Where did this god come from? Is there anyone who can cure him? However, the Ice Wolf King then thought about it, and it seemed that it was not a shameful thing to serve as a mount for such a strong man for a period of time. After returning to the pack, it decided to write this incident of honoring its ancestors into the wolf tree. He has thought of all the words. I was ridden by an extremely strong man. Here on the battlefield, Chi Tianhao didn't notice the situation on Suren's side. He cannot fully control this move. Once used, everything within 10,000 miles around him will be frozen. However, this move does no harm. Except for being unable to move, all other senses are unaffected. It can only be regarded as a group control skill. The time of freezing is also decided by him. Tianjia, forget it, stop being obsessed with it, can you just practice with me in the snow field? Chi Tianhao knew that his brother could hear it. Ever since he knew that there was a queen outside the world, he did not dare to reveal his strength. He has been hiding in this snowy field with his younger brother to practice. Because he heard that people from the Sky and Sky Empire would regularly send people to this world to eliminate those who had broken through the 9th rank. If they were to discover him, his brother would definitely die. Only the snow field can shield the Sky Empire's exploration for some unknown reason. But after staying in this place for a long time, Chi Tianjia could no longer bear this feeling of loneliness. He wants to go out and see the outside world, and he is not afraid even if he dies. The two got into a quarrel and finally couldn't help but start a fight. Chi Tianhao melted away the ice power around Chi Tianji's head and originally wanted to dissuade him. Unexpectedly, Chi Tianji roared angrily. Chi Tianhao, you are the one who is so stubborn. You coward! If everyone in the world is like you, then everyone will be trapped in this world their whole lives, and they will never know the truth of this world. Enough. Chi Tianhao's originally kind face also showed a trace of anger. The truth. The truth. Does the truth really matter? Being alive is the most important thing. Since you are unwilling to listen to me, then I will let you stay with me forever, so that you will not think of running away. A long sword suddenly appeared in Chi Tianhao's hand. Chi Tianjia laughed loudly when he saw this. Ha ha ha, even if you kill me, I won't agree with your idea. You coward! Chi Tianhao closed his eyes, raised his sword and stabbed. He didn't want to kill Chi Tianjia, but wanted to destroy his strength. This way he won't clamor to leave her, and their brothers can stay together again. Puff. The long sword pierced the Chi in Chi Tianji's abdomen. This is a new cultivation method that they have discovered by themselves. Their bodies are no longer digitized, but have advanced to another level. The gathering of energy in the sea of Qi is their new way of cultivation. Now that Chi Tianji's Qi has been broken, his strength is reduced to 10%, and he is no longer his opponent. Brother, now we will never be separated. Ah, Chi Tianhao. You bastard, coward. I don't have a big brother like you. Chi Tianji roared hysterically. But at this point he was powerless and everything was doomed. Chi Tianhao looked at his brother with a smile. Say whatever you want about me, as long as you are happy, I don't care. Su Ren looked at the two brothers. For some reason, he always felt that both of them were extremely sick, and both of them were seriously ill. When Su Ren was about to snatch the ice crystal pendant, among the people invited by Lord Caesar, a middle-aged man broke the ice in front of him with a punch. In an instant, he killed the Chi Tianhao brothers. Haha, the empire has slipped through the cracks, I didn't expect to find you here. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 373. Who is this person? If Su Ren heard it right, he just said that the two brothers Chi Tianhao had slipped through the trap of the empire. Is he from the Sky Empire? Su Ren quietly stared at the center of the battlefield. This middle-aged man was extremely fast, breaking through the layers of ice and arriving in front of Chi Tianhao in just the blink of an eye. Chi Tianhao stabbed him with a sword. The middle-aged man did not dodge, and did not see him using a weapon. He just punched Chi Tianhao's long sword with his fist. The fist and the tip of the sword touched together, and powerful power burst out instantly. Boom! There was a loud noise, and all the surrounding ice was shattered. The other people who were frozen were freed because of their duel. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. The strength of the two brothers has exceeded their imagination, and they did not expect that there would be masters present. After the loud noise, the sword in Chi Tianhao's hand seemed unable to withstand the force of the opponent's bombardment, and it collapsed into pieces on the ground. And he himself was so shocked that he spit out a mouthful of blood and flew out again. Chi Tianjia, who was close, was even worse. His Chi was broken, and now he had no strength to withstand such a close impact. The impact instantly cut off his head and shattered his body. Chi Tianjia never imagined that he would die in this way. The middle-aged man took 2 steps back and shook his hand that was numb from the shock. Compared to Chi Tianhao, he was basically fine. Tianjia. Ah! Seeing that his brother was dead, Chi Tianhao stood up and roared and rushed over again. The middle-aged man smiled lightly when he saw this. You don't have to be sad, because you can't run away. I will send you to the underground to accompany him right away. The middle-aged man punched again. This may seem like an ordinary punch, but the power contained in it is extremely terrifying. Chi Tianhao clenched the ice crystal pendant in his hand, and a trace of purple energy overflowed from it into his palm. This time fist to palm. However, Chi Tianhao's palm borrowed the power of the ice crystal pendant. Boom! There was another loud noise. The place where the two fought was shrouded in bright light and thick smoke, and the situation inside could no longer be seen clearly. Everyone was far away at this time, but they were knocked to the ground again by the shock wave. The one with low strength was still shocked to the point of vomiting blood despite being so far away, and was almost killed by the aftermath of the battle between the two. Suren squinted at the center of the battle and asked the mirror spirit in the pet space. What kind of strength does this person have? Jingling replied. At the early stage of the upper second realm, he is stronger than those two brothers. How about it, are you sure you can handle him? If you can't do it, I can help you, but I have to charge a fee. After all, one action consumes a lot of money on me. Suren rolled his eyes at her when he heard this. Do you think I need your help? When the time is up tonight, come out and don't stay in there anymore. Suren still didn't know what she was thinking. She must have enjoyed the benefits in the beast space and wanted to hang on. Oh, just let me stay for one more day, just one day, okay? Jingling pleaded softly. Don't act coquettishly for me, it's useless. Humph, you're so stingy. Don't ask me questions anymore. I won't tell you even if I know. Suren no longer looked at her, but looked at the area where the two were fighting. If he had read correctly just now, a trace of purple energy overflowed from the ice crystal pendant. Could it be that the ice crystal divine pendant also contains Hongmeng purple chi? Did the two brothers break through their limits with this thing? Before Suren could think about it, the smoke and dust from the place where the two sides fought slowly dispersed. Chi Tianhao fell to the ground covered in blood. Although he was not dead, he still had more air coming out and less air coming in. The middle-aged man looked at his shattered sleeves and bleeding fists with an angry expression. He was actually injured by a criminal. This was a great shame to him. You, who are you? Chi Tianhao looked at the middle-aged man in front of him, his eyes full of despair. Go Huo has been hiding for so many years, and he never thought it would end like this. He didn't expect that even if he used the power of the ice crystal pendant, he would still be no match for this person. Haha, since you are going to die, then I will tell you with great mercy, so that you can die knowingly. The middle-aged man walked up to him step by step and said condescendingly. I am the patrolling angel of the northern territory of the Sky and Sky Empire. I am responsible for killing and cleaning up those of you who break through the restrictions. Hearing this, Chi Tianhao's pupils shook strongly. Air and Sky Empire. You are from the Sky and Sky Empire. Chi Tianhao didn't expect that he had been hiding for his whole life, but he still hadn't escaped. The middle-aged man walked up to him and looked at him indifferently. You. Oh, by the way, you guys too. When this unparalleled punch, mixed with the strong wind, struck Suren, everyone's hearts were in their throats. The middle-aged man looked at Suren in disbelief. How can this be? Boom. He is a person from the upper second realm, how could he be easily caught by someone in this place of exile? However, with your little strength, you dare to stand in front of me and ask for something from me. You are still too naive. The ice crystal pendant, it's mine, you can't take it away. After the middle-aged man finished speaking, he punched Suren. Suren took one step forward and was in front of this person the next second. The middle-aged man casually punched Chi Tianhao's head. I know you have some strength. Logically speaking, you shouldn't have that kind of strength at your age. The great elder of the Snow clan looked here tremblingly. Okay, you can die. Clan leader. It seems that this thing allows you to break through the shackles and restrictions imposed on you by the Empire. Now that you know something you shouldn't know, you criminals can go die. The middle-aged man frowned and looked at Suren. Chi Tianhao was unable to resist at this time and could only watch helplessly as he took away the ice crystal pendant. Yes, I heard hundreds of years ago that people who broke the restrictions appeared in this area. You hit it well. The imagined scene of Suren being knocked away did not appear. Instead, the middle-aged man's punch was easily caught by Suren. You can hurt me with it? It seems like a good thing. Now, it belongs to me. With the blocking skill, no matter how powerful the attack was, it would be ineffective against Suren. If Suren loses, then they will also die. Wait a moment. The middle-aged man bent down and took away the ice crystal pendant from Chi Tianhao's hand. After looking at it carefully, he said in wonder. This man was not prepared to let them go. What you said also applies to you. The middle-aged man looked at everyone watching, his face full of indifference. Anyone who knows the truth will also be obliterated. This is also the duty of his patrol angel. The two brothers fought back and forth, but both died at the hands of outsiders. Pity. Seeing the opponent's punch, Suren stood there without moving at all, but said lightly. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 374. Nothing is impossible. Suren clenched his hands slightly, and the middle-aged man's body also twisted. Ah! Screams of pain echoed throughout the world. The expressions of the people watching ranged from despair to excitement to fear. This man who was so arrogant just now was easily crushed by this young man the next moment, and it seemed like he didn't even have a chance to fight back. Today they truly saw what it means that there is heaven outside the sky and there are people outside the world. Suren, what is your strength? Among the crowd, Zhou Zhang was looking at the young man with a normal expression in shock. At first, he thought that Suren would only be in mid-9th rotation at most. But when he defeated the Ice Wolf King with one move later, he thought Suren had reached the late stage of turn 9. But Suren now easily defeated the middle-aged man who crushed the Snow Clan leader. This made him no longer able to guess what Suren's strength was. Compared to the shock of others, the Ice Wolf King seemed very excited. Ouch! So strong. In the future, I can add another glorious achievement to my wolf tree. I once had a battle with a supremely powerful man named Suren. The two sides fought until they were exhausted. Although I was unfortunately defeated, I did not embarrass the Ice Wolf clan. In the center of the battlefield, the middle-aged man screamed and looked at the young man in front of him in horror. Who are you? Ordinary people. Suren took the ice crystal pendant from his hand, took a look at it, and put it into his space backpack. As he got closer, Suren was sure that the purple energy in the ice crystal pendant was Hongmeng purple chi. It's no wonder that the two brothers were able to break through the restrictions and reach the previous level. Now that he had the thing, Suren was no longer ready to torture him, but was ready to give him a good time. Boy, no matter who you are, you can't escape the pursuit of the Empire. If you dare to kill me, you will be endlessly hunted by the Empire. Before dying, the other party wanted to threaten Suren with this. Really? Can't we just kill one of them? You. The middle-aged man was speechless for a moment. Boom. His body fell to the ground, throwing up some snow. Hey, what is this? Under the sunlight, Suren discovered that a bright object on the other party's waist was reflecting light. Suren bent down to pick it up and found a simple token with 5 large gilt characters on it. Patrol Angel of the Northern Territory. Suren turned over the token and looked at it. Zhao Jin. Suren glanced at the middle-aged man's body lying on the ground and murmured. It turns out this man's name is Zhao Jin. I don't know if there are any other patrol angels from the Sky and Sky Empire on this blue star. Forget it, what does it have to do with me? Suren put the token away. This thing might be useful in the future. Looking around, everyone was looking at him. They also heard what Zhao Jin said before his death. This Sky and Sky Empire sounded like a powerful country. And it seems to be a force from outside. Now that Suren has killed their patrolling angel, if someone else comes to visit him in the future, they will know the truth of the matter. Therefore, they are afraid that Suren will kill and silence him. But they thought too much. Suren never had to do anything to kill people and silence them. Seeing everyone's scared eyes, Suren shook his head. The ice crystal pendant has been obtained, and there is no need to stay in this place. Suren was about to leave when Zhou Zhangzheng ran over. Senior Su, can I ask you something? What's up? The three brothers and Bian who haven't yet. After Zhou Zhangzheng finished speaking, he looked towards the people of the Snow Clan. I see. After Suren finished speaking, he stepped out in front of the Snow Clan people. This frightened the people of the Shui tribe, and they all thought that Suren was going to kill them and silence them. You don't have to be afraid. Hand over the 4 people you captured and hand them over to the person over there to take them back. They have committed all kinds of evil deeds in the outside world and need to be punished as they deserve. This is. The great elder of the Snow Clan knew that they could not refuse Suren's words. Okay, see you again when you have the chance. Suren nodded slightly towards Zhou Zhangzheng, and then the space wormhole appeared in front of him. After Suren left, everyone felt relieved. It's exciting enough today. Things are happening one after another. In front of these strong men, their lives are more fragile than paper. If you are not careful, you may lose your life. No matter what, they survived, which is the greatest luck. The Ice Wolf King looked at the place where Suren left with longing. Hey, my king's mount has not yet warmed up, so why did he leave? Thinking about it, I really feel reluctant to part with it. The Ice Wolf King shook his head, turned and left here. After returning to the Wolf Clan, it decided to publicize this glorious event to its sons and grandsons. The chief elder of the Snow Clan looked at the corpses on the ground and ordered the clansmen to collect the bodies of the clan leader and his younger brother for burial at another day. As for the others, we are also going to find a place to bury them. After giving the instructions, the great elder of the Snow Clan looked at Zhou Zhangzheng and said, "You come with me. You wait here, I will take you back." Zhou Zhangzheng glanced at the remaining 100 or so people. These people nodded after hearing this. Although they had walked the way back, going back was equally dangerous. Having an 8th level professional leading the team will make it much safer. After the great elder of the Snow Tribe left with Zhou Zhangzheng, the Snow Tribe people who were collecting the bodies suddenly felt their whole body stiffen, and all 5 senses disappeared at this moment. A sigh came out, and everyone present fell into a state of stillness. Alas, what a disaster! An old man walked over from a distance carrying a wine gourd. Although he walked slowly, in just a moment, he came to the body of the patrolling angel Zhao Jin. If there were people from Mobei City here, they would be able to recognize this old man at a glance as the crazy drunk old man in the city. Looking at the corpse at his feet, the old man shook his head. The person Zhao Jin was originally going to track down was actually him, but in the end, he asked Brother Qi Tian how to block the gun for him. In the end, I didn't expect that Zhao Jin also died here. The matter becomes more complicated. The patrol angel is dead, now we are in big trouble. The old man looked up at the sky and murmured. The Sky and Sky Empire will definitely send more people to clean up now, and maybe other people on the planet will be affected. That boy is in big trouble. The old man opened the gourd and took a sip of wine. After tying the gourd to his belt, he bent down and picked up Zhao Jin's body from the ground. Then he jumped out and left here. He had to handle this body personally to feel at ease. After the old man left, everyone who was in a still state also woke up. Huh? Where did the body go? They didn't even know what had just happened. It's broken, please notify the great elder immediately. The patrolling angel's body suddenly disappeared, causing them to panic. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 375. Suren returned through the wormhole to outside the job transfer temple in Donghai City. Enter the temple as soon as possible to change jobs. Welcome, Professional Suren. You have met the conditions for job transfer. Do you want to transfer? Yes. Job transfer begins, please wait. Golden light enveloped Suren, bathing him in a golden ocean. After a few minutes, the light disappears and 5 turns are completed. Congratulations, you completed the 5th turn and gained a skill point. Suren looked at the 2 skill points he had gained from his 2 job transfers, and without hesitation added them to the skill speaking and following the law. Words come true, within the rules of the world, you can do whatever you want. This skill cannot be upgraded through proficiency and requires 2 character skill points to upgrade. Skilled speaking skills, you can already reverse the rules of the world and do whatever you want. Upgrading this skill to perfection requires a godhead. Perfect words are followed, you are the incarnation of rules. You can create all things and destroy all things with one word. Your verbal skills have been upgraded to proficient. Suren looked at the skilled words, and after a moment of silence, he used the wormhole to enter the abyss again. The moment Suren appeared, a group of low-level abyss monsters saw him and rushed towards him. You are already dead. Suren spoke softly, and the abyss monster that rushed over stiffened and fell straight to the ground. There were no wounds on their bodies or any other reactions, and they just died in front of Suren. What is the reversal rule? Suren thought about these words. Everyone knows that water flows downwards because of gravity. Reversal of the rule means, can I make water flow upward in the presence of gravity? No matter what a species is, after it is born, it is destined that the species will not change. It will remain the species until it dies. Is this an established rule? Suren looked at the many monsters lying on the ground, pointed at a monster at random and said softly, "Now, you're a dog." As Suren finished speaking, the monster's corpse actually turned into a dog's corpse. Seeing this amazing thing, Suren was silent for a long time before he came back to his senses. Can it really change species? Isn't this a method that only true gods can possess? Suren thought of an idea again, and then slowly said to the dog, "Now, you live." Suren stared at the dog's body without blinking. After a long time, it didn't get up. Isn't life and death a rule? I can let it die, why can't I let it live? Suren stood there and thought for a while, then guessed. There are countless ways to make you a living creature die, but if you want to bring it back to life, no one can do it. Dead, just dead, no one can reverse it. Unless I can advance my speech to perfection, one thought will lead to life and one thought will lead to death. This is the real God. I took a look at my level. I had just killed so many abyss monsters, and my level had once again reached the limit level of 5. Forget it, let's go back and take over the 6th mission first. Damn it, we'll talk about it later. Now that he has become proficient in speaking, Suren has finally met the conditions to enter the heavenly realm. After dealing with the things around me, it's time to go to the outer world. After Suren left, a fiery red fox floated over. Looking at the corpses of many monsters on the ground, the fox spoke in human words. You are such a powerful person, why do you always come to the abyss to kill these low-level monsters? Doesn't he have some bad taste? Huh? Where did this strange dog come from? It's really strange. Are there such low-level monsters in the abyss? The King of Desire shook his head in confusion, turned and left here. Inside the job transfer temple. Welcome, Professional Suren. You have met the conditions for accepting the 6th job transfer mission. Do you want to accept the job transfer mission? Yes. The 6th job transfer task has been delivered, please check it. Suren looked at the message sent. Submit inferior bloodstones x 100. Like the 5th turn mission, there is only one condition. But Suren knew that there was only one condition, which meant that this was a very difficult task. This time, in order to get the ice crystal pendant, people from the previous level or even the 2nd level have appeared. This low-grade bloodstone is definitely not a common thing. Jingling, what is the bloodstone? Suren asked as he looked at the fragments of the innate treasure in the beast's space. Humph, I won't tell you. Jingling was obviously still angry. You really don't want to tell me. If you don't tell me, you just won't tell me. You don't want me to answer your question. Suren pretended to sigh when he heard this. Sigh, I originally wanted you to stay in there for 2 more days, but it seems like you don't really want to stay in there. In that case, let's forget it. Wait a moment. The mirror spirit turned into a phantom and shouted loudly. Bloodstone is a stone collected from the blood-colored river that can be used for cultivation. Its function is equivalent to the energy raw stone in your world. But the bloodstone has much more energy, which is far beyond what the garbage energy raw stones in your world can compare with. Furthermore, it is very difficult to collect bloodstones. Even forces like the Sky and Sky Empire cannot possess many bloodstones. Suren heard this and asked again, then you mean that I have to leave this planet if I want to get the bloodstone? Jingling nodded. Yes, no one on this planet has a bloodstone. If you kill that patrol angel today, he won't even have a chance to use the bloodstone. This thing is also a real high-grade hard currency in the TNU. Most sects only use spiritual stones that are lower than bloodstones. Suren frowned after hearing this. I knew it wasn't easy. It seems this thing is still scarce. At this time Jingling spoke again. Hey, I've told you everything I know. Does what you just said count? Suren nodded. Of course, I never break my word. Hee, that's good. No longer looking at her, Suren was thinking about another question. The bloodstone can only be obtained outside. After I go out and complete the task, can I come back and change my job? Suren thought about it and felt it was too troublesome. Although he had a wormhole, the distance was too far and it would take a long time to cross the wormhole. It's better to grab a job-changing temple and put it in the pet space. Then take it out and use it when you need to use it later. Suren did what he thought of and opened the wormhole directly to an uninhabited desert in the far west. He had been here before, so he had the coordinates here. There are temples at regular intervals in this place. Suren chose a temple that no one would pass by and arrested him. After several failures, there was finally a sound of success. Successful arrest. Congratulations on obtaining experimental temple number 9527 of the Sky Empire. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 376. Sky Empire, Northern Galaxy, a huge city in the center of a big star. The place is dotted with metallic skyscrapers. Each building is thousands of meters high. Countless small airships shuttled between the buildings, and everything seemed orderly. You can even see many humanoid aircraft similar to Gundam flying in mid-air. Looking down from a high altitude, you can still see a faint blue energy shield wrapping this huge city. In the room at the top of a towering building in the center of the city, This is the experimental temple control center of many exiles in the northern galaxy. On a 10-meter high black wall, densely packed light spots are arranged in sequence. Every spot of light on this represents an experimental temple. Just when Suren captured a temple, one of the light spots went out. Attention! Blue Star Experimental Temple number 9527 is out of control, please send someone to investigate. A mechanical sound echoed throughout the building. After a while, the person in charge here knew it. Blue Star again. Sir, what's the problem? His men asked. The Sky Patrol Division just sent news that the lifeline of the patrol angel they sent to Blue Star went out. I was asked to check the location of the patrol angel when he died. It's just that the area where the inquiry needs to be made is subject to signal interference, so in-depth inquiry cannot be made. How could a patrol angel die in a place like that? Isn't every patrol angel at least above the second level? The subordinates felt a little weird after hearing this. A place of exile like Blue Star has strength limitations. The highest strength of the creatures in that world cannot break through the previous level. Have you forgotten the sinner who killed the Emperor Star with one man and one sword decades ago? Restrictions exist, but there is no guarantee that there will be no problems 100%. Otherwise, what else would the Sky Survey Department do? Hearing this, his men fell silent. Blue Star is indeed a strange place. The man who killed Blue Star with a sword had cost the Empire a lot of time and energy to capture and imprison him. Even if the Empire personally sent people to take action, countless powerful generals were lost. The appearance of this person once led the Empire to order that all places of exile should be strictly guarded so that nothing like this would happen again. All right. Now there is a problem in the experimental temple, and we have to send people to investigate. Let's do this. Send a small team to go to Blue Star with the people from the Sky Survey Department. We must investigate the matter clearly. If those criminals dare to stop us, they will be killed without mercy. It's sir, I'll immediately organize people to investigate. Donghai City. After Suren captured the temple, he returned here again. He wants to wait for Xiongda and the others to come back. 2 days passed quickly, and Suren was not idle these 2 days. Jingling said that outside, all food, drink, housing and transportation cost money. The money from the outside world needs to be exchanged with spiritual stones and so on. So Suren went to Kyoto these days to find Xiao Ding and sell all the things he had on him. All the money was also given to him and he asked him to exchange it for raw energy stones. Blue Star's money, which is just waste paper outside, can be exchanged for raw energy stones, which can then be exchanged for higher level spiritual stones. When Xiao Ding saw Suren, he immediately asked about Mordekaiser. After learning that Mordekaiser was dead, Xiao Ding was stunned for a moment, then left. With Mordekaiser dead, Dingsheng Group might be able to compete for the throne of the world's largest equipment dealer. This is good news for him. Suren didn't care how he worked, he only wanted the raw energy stone now. After hearing this, Xiao Ding naturally agreed wholeheartedly, but Suren needed a lot of raw energy stones, and he couldn't get so many in a short time. But Xiao Ding promised to collect everything Suren needed within a week. 2 days later, Xiongda and Ice Dragon King returned to Donghai City. How's your revenge going? Suren looked at Xiongda and asked. Xiongda shook his head. Sigh, young master, I thought I could kill all the people related to them, but I saw a lot of children. Seeing their innocent eyes reminded me of the children in the orphanage again. I couldn't bear it. So, you didn't do anything? Xiongda shook his head again. No, I just warned them not to do evil things like Atta and Sampa, and to be good people. Sir, am I too kind? Suren patted his shoulder and said with a smile. Everyone has compassion. It's not your fault. What do you want to do next? Suren asked. I don't know either. After hearing that Suren was back, Wu Zhenyang came to the door quickly. Kyoto, Dragon Warrior Guild. So, I can only ask you to go. Suren saw that he seemed to be quarreling with someone on the phone, and his face turned red, but in the end it seemed that he had won the quarrel. Here, just wait for me and I'll ask. 500,000 pieces, is that enough? President, why are you so anxious to see me? Going to participate in the World Championship by yourself is not a dimensionality reduction attack. Wu Zhenyang smiled bitterly and shook his head. Are there any energy raw stone rewards? With the strength of the following players, it would be difficult for them to even rank among the top 5 in the World Championships. If necessary, the more the better. Xiongda looked at Suren leaving, then turned around and walked towards the orphanage with long strides. We also know that with your ability, it is indeed a bit boring to participate in this kind of competition, but we really don't have any suitable candidates. Suren nodded, took back the Ice Dragon King and the Poison Dragon Queen and left here through the wormhole. I think, if possible, I would like to go back to the orphanage. I feel like I can't leave there. I like the carefree life with those children where I don't have to think too much. After Suren heard this, to be honest, he didn't really want to go. Suren thought for a while and asked. As for the World Championship, he only thought about it when he heard Wu Zhenyang talking about it. Goodbye, sir. Well, you also know that you are still among the top 3 people who can participate in the World Championship. Mu Hongxia was taken away, and the third person is pretending to be someone from the Night God cult. Although he was only 18 years old, his state of mind was already different from theirs. Suren nodded. He originally decided to go to the headquarters of the Night God sect and dig out the leader of the Night God sect after getting the raw energy stone. What happened to the World Championship? Isn't it held next month? Do you need the energy stone? I'm almost invincible. You want me to play house with a group of young people around age 5? Ah. After hanging up the phone, Wu Zhenyang walked over and grinned. Do you remember the World Championship? Well, just follow your inner thoughts. I will come back to see you when I have time in the future. After hearing this, to be honest, Suren almost forgot about it. Then he left Blue Star and headed to the outer world. No, the World Committee has been moved up a month and will be held in 2 days. Wu Zhenyang walked aside and made a phone call. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 377. 500,000 raw energy stones, this is a huge amount of wealth. You must know that if Suren took out the hundreds of billions he had and asked Xiao Ding to exchange them for raw energy stones, he would only be able to exchange them for about 1.5 million. President, are you selling yourself out? Suren was a little curious. What are you talking about? I just had a cordial exchange with the Minister of Finance. If he dares not to agree to the conditions I mentioned, I will go to the king of the country immediately for comment. The old guy readily agreed upon hearing this. Suren nodded. He knew that the other party would not readily agree to this matter. Maybe Wu Zhenyang used some method to get the other party to agree. Suren stopped talking about this topic and asked. How long does the World Championship usually take? Wu Zhenyang thought for a while and replied. 3 days, that should be enough. However, if you start faster, you can even advance this time to 2 days. Ahead of time? How to do it in advance? Wu Zhenyang smiled and said, you didn't read the rules at first glance. A total of 120 countries are participating in this World Championship. Each country sends 5 people to participate in the competition, which means a total of 600 people. On the first day, a team points system will be used. Each country will form a group and enter the small world to farm monsters. The top 50 teams with points will enter the second round, which is the second day of the competition. The second round adopts the team elimination mode, and all teams gather in a large arena to attack each other. Until there are 8 teams left. These 8 teams entered the final day of competition. After Suren heard this, he understood immediately. You mean I just need to eliminate them all the next day? Wu Zhenyang nodded. Yes, with your strength, you can probably send them all to the ring without any effort, so that there will be no need for the third day of the competition. Just think of it as a trip. Okay, when will we leave? This matter is not difficult for Suren, and it is not bad to get 500,000 raw energy stones. The most important thing is that it takes time for Xiaoding to collect raw energy stones. After returning from participating in the World Championship, Xiaoding should have collected almost everything. Tomorrow morning, I will be the leader of the team this time. I will call you. Okay. Kyoto, in a courtyard. The Minister of Finance of Longguo is asking about something. Master, Wu Zhenyang said that it was you who approved giving Suren 500,000 raw energy stones as a reward for the World Championship. Is this true? The king was stunned when he heard this. When did he give the instruction? But thinking that this was for Suren, the king nodded slightly and said, It's true. Let's do this. I'll give him another 500,000 when the time comes. What? The Minister of Finance turned green after hearing this, and couldn't help but said anxiously. Master, that's 1 million raw energy stones. If I give this to Suren, there won't be much left in the treasury. You must consider it carefully. Okay, I know, give it to him, he is leaving here, this is the last place I can help him. The king looked up at the sky, his thoughts already flying to the sky. He knew that Suren asked Xiaoding to collect raw energy stones. Now Wu Zhenyang also needs energy raw stones for Suren. He heard a drunken old man say more than 10 years ago that money spent by the outside world needs to be exchanged for raw energy stones. Combined with Suren's recent actions, how could he not guess that Suren was going to leave this world and go to the outer world? That was also the place he yearned for. Oh, okay, I'll take care of it right away. The Minister of Finance left, but the king was still looking at the sky in concentration. Early the next morning, Wu Zhenyang found Suren and took him and the other 4 people participating in the World Championship with him. Among the few people, he only knew Su Xiao, who also belonged to the Longguo Guild. Several people could see that they were very excited. This is their first time representing Dragon Kingdom in the World Championship. Originally, they had no chance except Su Xiao. But Suren got rid of several major families and moved them up several places in the rankings. Coupled with the disappearance of the Yeshen cult troublemaker and Mu Hongxia, they were able to advance 2 more. This allowed them to represent the Dragon Kingdom in the World Championship as substitutes. Senior Brother Suren. I've met Senior Brother Suren. After seeing Suren, several people greeted him one after another. Although they are older than Suren, in terms of strength, it is not an exaggeration to call them senior brothers. Moreover, the affairs of Sakura country have been widely reported in China. As long as everyone is online, everyone knows about this. In the past, Longguo tried his best to conceal Suren's matters, but Longguo seemed to have deliberately publicized this matter. It's hard for everyone even if they don't know. Suren's status in the Dragon Kingdom now has a vague tendency to surpass that of the Sword God. Suren nodded slightly towards several people. The World Championship will be held on Arakajanan Island. After we pass through the teleportation array, I will take you to check in first. Alakigia is a large state in the northernmost part of the beautiful country, far away from the mainland of the beautiful country, and is famous for its gambling in the world. Some people reveled and sang here, while others were forced to commit suicide by jumping off the building. This is heaven and hell. South Island is not far from the mainland of Alakia. It is better to say that it is an island than a small continent. The entire island covers an area of tens of thousands square kilometers and is dominated by plains. The island has all kinds of facilities and can accommodate hundreds of thousands of people at the same time. It is also often used for various events. When Suren and his party came here, the island was already crowded with people and very lively. People of all colors gather here to witness which country will win the final championship in this year's World Championship. Wu Zhenyang took a few people and the accompanying team to the hotel to check in, and then had something to eat. This time the time is quite short. I know you haven't had time to prepare yet. However, with Suren here, you don't have to worry or feel pressure. Just do it to the best of your ability. Fight until you have no regrets, do you understand? Clear. Wu Zhenyang nodded. You guys go to bed early today and try not to go out. Even if you have to go out, tell me and I will take you to the competition venue early tomorrow morning. South Island is now crowded with hundreds of thousands of people, and it is inevitable that there will be a mixture of good and bad. There have been cases of players being attacked and killed in world championships before. Therefore, Wu Zhenyang did not let a few people move around at will to avoid any accidents. When Suren and his party checked in, they were in a luxurious private room in the largest bar in South Island. Several blonde beauties were drinking wine with the teenagers in front of them. At this time, an attendant opened the door and walked up to a handsome and enchanting young man and said softly, "Your Highness, the people from the Dragon Kingdom have arrived." "Oh, very good. You guys go out first." Several blonde beauties bowed and retreated after hearing this. There were only a few teenagers and the attendant left in the room. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 378. Your Highness, I have been waiting for this day for a long time, and I can finally take revenge myself. In the corner of the room, a young man with black hair and yellow skin spoke coldly. If Suren were here, he would be able to recognize at a glance that this person was Li Wanqing, who lost to him in the big exam. Unexpectedly, he would go to the beautiful country and represent the beautiful country in this world championship. I don't know what opportunities Li Wanqing got, and he was able to represent the beautiful country in the competition at a young age. Haha, don't worry, I will never let you down. However, Suren is rumored to be able to kill 9th level professional with his sword. Why is he here to participate in the World Championship? Li Wanqing sneered. Your Highness, you don't know something. This Suren is so proud of his achievements and prides himself on being aloof. How could he let go of this opportunity to become famous all over the world? I know this person very well. Yeah. Glanced at Li Wanqing, still worried, and said, "Are you sure your time blockade can really control him? I saw the video of your last battle, and you lost." Facing a person who could cut 9 times with a sword, he didn't dare to be careless. Li Wanqing heard this and said hurriedly, "Your Highness, last time I dealt with him alone, and his strange knife led to my failure. This time, you and a few others will take action personally. When the time comes, I will use time blockade to control him. One of you will take action to stop his knife, and the rest of you will take action to kill him. Don't worry, Your Highness, Suren's own strength is definitely not higher than level 8. He relies on his few weird skills and the knife in his hand. As long as we don't give him a chance to react, it will be absolutely easy to kill him." Thought for a moment, looked at the attendant standing beside him and asked, "Servant of the underworld, do you see what kind of strength Suren is? He, a squire, has a special skill, which is to be able to see through the strength of opponents who are no more than 2 levels above his own. Back to your Highness, I have seen it. Among the 5 people from the Dragon Kingdom participating in the World Championship, the strongest one is Na Suren, but his strength does not seem to have reached level 8. It's only about 6 turns at most, or less than 6 turns. But, for a moment, I suddenly couldn't see through his strength, and I don't know why. Ming-Shi didn't say a word, and at that moment, he even felt fear. And he was extremely frightened. When he looked at Suren at that moment, he felt like he was being sucked into an invisible vortex, and his body seemed to be torn apart. If he hadn't withdrawn his eyes quickly, he might have died there. He didn't say anything about this, because when he looked at Suren again, he no longer had this feeling, so he thought it was just an illusion. Is it only 6 turns? He can kill at 9 turns at 6 turns. It seems that his skills are really abnormal. If it weren't for keeping him in trouble, I would like to see what kind of skills he has. Weir still believed in Underworld's ability, because even his own strength would be easily seen by Underworld, and it was useless to hide it in front of him. However, Weir was still a little worried, and immediately ordered the Underworld attendant. Send a few rank 7s tonight to test his strength. Don't alert others. Li Wanking. Your Highness, what are your orders? You go too. What? Your Highness, what should I do? Li Wanking was a little puzzled. Why don't you try your time blockade? You don't have to enter his room in person, just control it nearby. After success, let those assassins go in and assassinate him. This way I can roughly see what methods he has. This, well, your Highness is wise. Li Wanking bowed and said yes. Okay, you can go out and prepare with the Underworld warrior now. I'm waiting for your good news. I hope that Suren will die in the hotel tonight. After Li Wanking left, the 3 people around Weir whispered. Your Highness, do you really believe this Li Wanking? He is a dragon countryman after all. There is a saying in the Dragon Kingdom that people who are not from my race will have different hearts. I think this Li Wanking is an ambitious person. Your Highness must be on guard against him. Weir smiled disdainfully after hearing this. Do you really think that His Highness completely trusts him? If it weren't for the fact that his skills are not bad and there is some use in keeping him, I would have killed him long ago. His skills are also a threat to His Highness. After speaking, Weir's eyes became fierce. If I can kill Na Su-ren this time, I will get rid of him next time. Jingling agreed without even thinking. But Su-ren is not in a hurry, one day he will let her fall into his hands. Want to get rid of me? Weir, do you really think that I, Li Wanking, didn't guard against you? This guy stayed inside and refused to leave. 2 days had already passed. Su-ren was busy and did not see her, so she just chose to pretend to be dead inside. At this time, Su-ren was urging Jingling to come out of his pet space. Just as Su-ren was secretly planning, he suddenly felt that time around him was stagnant. After killing Su-ren, I will kill you again. Then I only need to say that you two will kill each other. In the end, I will be the ultimate winner. I kept you for one more day, can you come out now? On the other end, Li Wanking's headset was wirelessly connected. Su-ren couldn't catch her at all. Do you think I need you to save me? Who doesn't have space skills? What you get in exchange is the permanent right to live in my pet's space. What do you think of this deal? I make you greedy, and when the time comes, I will make you mine too. Besides, my space ability is very strong. If you accidentally fall into some space turbulence while walking in the universe, I can still save you. Forget it, how about we make a deal? This guy is very clever and usually hides his true body in the void. She knows that Su-ren has arresting skills and can catch anything. This is simply not a good deal for her. Seeing her agree, Su-ren also smiled secretly. Am I right? But it is true that there are many questions to ask. Su-ren was stunned for a moment, and then said with some doubts in his heart. Okay, deal. Li Wanking followed Ming-Shi silently out of the bar with his head lowered, his face already covered with frost. Huh? I seem to have encountered this feeling somewhere before. You are about to go out. Your first stop is the Northern Galaxy under the control of the Sky and Sky Empire. When the time comes, your eyes will darken. Don't you have to rely on me? You say. Upon hearing this, Jingling acted coquettishly and started bargaining. So every time he speaks, he appears as a ghost. What Weir didn't know was that in an inconspicuous corner of the room, inside a jack, a listener the size of a thin needle was slowly working. In Li Wanking's mind, he had already sorted out all the plans in detail. Don't you have a lot of questions to ask? Just ask, and I'll tell you everything I know. Suren thought for a while and said, as long as you know the questions I ask in the future, you must answer me and you can't lie. Suren is in the hotel room. No, let's stay for 2 more days. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 379. It turns out it's him, Li Wanking. Suren finally remembered. There are not many professionals who can control time. Among the people he knows and has a grudge against, Li Wanking is the only one. Looking at the strength and range of this skill, it seems that Li Wanking has some chance to improve and become much stronger. At least Suren couldn't see where he had launched the time blockade on himself. However, Li Wanking has become stronger, and Suren is not standing still. In the past, Suren had to rely on the 1,000 blades of the demonic knife for this move. Now, Suren no longer needs the 1,000 blades of demon sword to take action. The moment the time blockade touched Suren, he also used his skillful speaking skills at the same time. Reversal of the rules, your time rules don't work for me. After Suren came out of the time blockade, he did not move. Since the other party has taken action against him, he must have a backup plan. Suren wanted to wait for him to surrender. Outside the hotel. After Li Wanking felt it for a while, he said to the underworld attendant next to him. We have successfully controlled him, let them go. Underworld warrior nodded. You guys remember to leave immediately after killing, and don't stay too long. The 3 level 7 professionals looked at each other and quickly ran towards the hotel under the cover of night. Suren's floor was on the 5th floor. The 3 of them did not take the stairs, but climbed directly to the corner of the wall to the window on the 5th floor at a very fast speed. The 3 of them looked inside and saw Suren lying motionless on the bed with his eyes open. Kill. The 3 of them broke through the window without hesitation and stabbed with their swords. Because of Li Wanking's time blockade, the glass did not make any sound when it shattered, and the glass fragments even floated motionless in the air as if they were weightless. I've been waiting for you for a while. Suren smiled at a few people and slowly got off the bed. You. The 3 of them were shocked. Suren was not controlled by time. They knew the information about Suren clearly regarding the target of this assassination. Let's go. The 3 of them didn't dare to stay, so they turned around and jumped out of the window to escape. You're here, sit down for a while and then leave. The 3 of them felt like they were about to finish when they heard this. Before they could take a step, the 3 of them sat neatly on the ground in an instant. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't move at all. What kind of ability is this? The 3 of them were horrified. I asked, you said, don't tell lies. Suren asked himself, who sent you here? When the 3 heard this, they all replied, it's His Highness Weir. His Royal Highness Weir? Who is he? His Royal Highness Weir is the eldest son of Grand Duke Gibber, who is the mastermind behind the Congress of the Beautiful Country. Suren continued to ask, did Li Wanking come here with you too? Yes, he and Lord Underworld are waiting for our news in the dense forest 200 meters outside the hotel. Outside the hotel at this time. Mingshi frowned and said, something's wrong. It's been too long. They may have failed. Let's go. Underworld Yin. The two figures disappeared instantly. As soon as the two of them left here, Suren's figure had already appeared where they had just been. Ran. But this time, you can't run away. I was about to leave Blue Star. If you insist on jumping out and seeking death, don't blame me. Suren returned to the hotel room. Because of Li Wanking's departure, time returned to normal again. Crash. A piece of glass fell to the ground, attracting the attention of hotel security. Suren looked at the three of them and said, "Take me to where your master lives?" The three of them nodded in unison, yes. They were extremely resisting their actions in their hearts, but they couldn't control their bodies and still took steps towards the outside of the hotel. The security guard downstairs looked at the figures falling down from the 5th floor and was about to be alert when Suren's voice sounded. "You didn't see anything." The security guards were stunned for a moment when they heard this, and then went on their own patrols. Suren followed the three of them and walked towards the east side of the hotel. In a private room at Nandeo Bar, Weir was groping up and down with his hands on a beautiful woman. As soon as he found the key parts, Mingxi and Li Wanking opened the door and walked in. Weir was interrupted and looked a little unhappy, but he still asked, "How's it going? Did you kill Suren?" Mingxi bowed and said, "Your Highness, it should have failed. The few people sent in didn't make any movement. When I saw that too much time had passed, I withdrew." Li Wanking. "Your Highness, I am here." "What happened?" Li Wanking said with some anxiety, "Your Highness, I don't know either. I am sure that my time blockade was successful, Lord Underworld can testify." While several people were talking, the singing and dancing outside the private room slowly stopped. Wrong. The Underworld attendant is the strongest and has reached the peak of level 8. He is the attendant sent by Grand Duke Jibo to protect Weir. The moment it became quiet outside, he noticed something strange. "Your Highness, leave quickly." Mingxi was about to activate his skill Ming Dao Yin. Just heard a faint voice coming from outside. "None of you can leave today." Suren. Hearing this voice, Li Wanking suddenly felt cold all over. "Long time no see, Li Wanking, young Master Li." Suren slowly walked into the private room and glanced at the people present. Everyone wanted to move, but found that their legs and feet didn't obey them at all. "It's over." This was the only thought of several people in the room at the moment. No one expected that not only did they fail to kill Suren, but they actually set him on fire and chased him here. Is it surprising? Suren sat on the sofa, picked up the grapes on the coffee table in front of him and ate them. "Suren, we have something to discuss." Although Weir could not move, Suren did not stop them from talking. "My father is Grand Duke Jibo, who controls the Congress behind the scenes. As long as you let me go, I can give you endless benefits." Suren looked at him and asked, "Can you get me 3 million raw energy stones in 3 days?" How much? How much?" 3 million. Even if the national treasury is drained, this amount will not be so much. Where did he collect so many raw energy stones? Looking at his expression, Suren knew that he couldn't get it together. "Oh, it's a pity that you can't meet my requirements." Suren stood up, walked to Li Wanking and patted him on the shoulder. "Goodbye, Mr. Li." After walking out of the private room door, Suren said something lightly. "Kill each other yourselves, and the one who survives to the end will kill himself." When Suren left, he didn't forget to close the door for them so that no one would disturb them. Walking into the hall, Suren looked at the still people and said with a smile, "Keep playing music, keep dancing, just pretend you haven't seen anything." In the largest bar in the South Island, one side was filled with people singing and dancing, while on the other side, there was a private room where the fight was fierce. "It's like there are two worlds here." The underworld servant who survived to the end looked at the corpses on the ground with strong fear in his eyes. But the next moment, he slapped himself on the head and ended his life. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 380. Early the next morning. Today was originally the first day of the World Championship. However, the entire South Island is under martial law and closed. For no other reason than that, all 5 contestants from the beautiful country died in the private room of the South Island bar. The news soon spread throughout the South Island. Even major media outlets have reported on this matter. The case was soon resolved. Kill each other. Several people's bodies were covered with wounds caused by each other, and the last one was also a peak level 8 expert. After he killed everyone, he committed suicide at the scene. No one knows why he did this. Because one of the deceased, had a special status, and this place was within the boundaries of the beautiful country. Therefore, the United States officials requested that the first round of the World Championship be postponed to the afternoon, and they needed to find out the truth of the case. Inside the hotel, Suren had breakfast leisurely with a few of his colleagues. Tell me, who killed those contestants from the beautiful country last night? I have long heard that there will be assassinations of players during the World Championships. I didn't expect that we would meet on the first day. Haha, now we have lost another strong competitor. Okay, eat your food honestly and don't talk nonsense. Wu Zhenyang glanced at several people and stopped allowing them to discuss. The matter has not yet been investigated clearly, and random remarks can easily lead to misunderstandings. In the morning, people from the World Committee came to the hotel twice to investigate. Participants from each country were asked twice what they were doing last night and whether they had gone out. By the afternoon, there was still no result. The surveillance near the bar was also operating normally, but no suspicious figures were captured entering the bar. The World Championship cannot be postponed, so the World Committee can only announce the official start of this World Championship. This time the World Championship was held early for unknown reasons, and it seemed that the World Committee did not have time to prepare. Even the opening ceremony simply went through a formality before entering the official competition. Under the eyes of hundreds of thousands of people in the stadium, the representative teams from all countries entered the portal that had been prepared in the stadium. Here, it leads to a small world full of monsters. Each time you kill a monster of a corresponding level, you will receive corresponding points. Since there is only half a day left, this will test the coordination of a team. Within 6 hours, the top 50 teams with points will advance to the second round of tomorrow's competition. After the host shouted loudly, cheers erupted in the arena. 4 large projection screens also slowly rose from the center of the arena at this time. On this projection screen, the audience can clearly see every move of each team. The team's points will also appear in the upper right corner of the screen for viewers to check in real time. Beautiful capital city. In a huge white manor. After Grand Duke Kibo heard the news from the South Island, he slumped in his chair. How so? You told me that underworld warrior killed my son and then committed suicide. How could he do this? After having followed him for so many years, he didn't believe that underworld warrior would do such a thing. Someone must be causing trouble, send someone to investigate for me immediately. If we can't find out who did it. Speaking of this, Grand Duke Jibo showed a sinister look on his face. Then sink the entire South Island for me. I want them all to be buried with my son. After hearing this order, the steward who reported the matter couldn't help but remind him with a look of horror. Grand Duke, there are not only people from the World Committee on the South Island, but there are also teams from hundreds of countries and hundreds of thousands of spectators from all over the world. If we sink the South Island, we will definitely be punished by everyone in the world. Please consider this matter carefully. No need to think about it, let them be buried with you. If they use that secret weapon, they may not be able to find me. Hearing the secret weapon, cold sweat broke out on the butler's forehead. This is something developed from the design drawings that Archduke Gibert got from somewhere. It took decades just to study this stuff. After the successful development, they conducted a total of 3 experiments. He was very satisfied with the results every time. Even mortals can use this weapon. It is not impossible to kill gods with a mortal body. Seeing that his master had made up his mind, the butler said nothing more and immediately sent someone to investigate the cause of His Highness Weir's death. The defenders of the city were suddenly startled. They held their weapons but did not dare to take action. Several people were talking to themselves, ignoring the old man and the city defenders. At this time, the helmets of the 12 armors were opened one by one. Under the helmets, there were handsome men and women. With their knowledge, they didn't even know what materials these people's armors were made of. After several people arrived, they looked at the armors on the 12 people in confusion. The defensive shield of Zishangwan was originally able to resist the attacks of extraterrestrial demons, but when it encountered these humanoid armors, it was broken instantly. Haha, these ignorant sinners have never seen the world. Maybe they think that the lower 9th realm is already great, right? Who are these people? Beyond the sky, on the wall of Zishangwan. After the soldiers guarding the city sounded the alarm, everyone in Zishan Pass rushed to the city wall to prepare for the battle. The barrier here was destroyed, which naturally alerted more city defenders. Don't you know this is a barrier against the demons outside the territory? It's human. But this time it seems a little different. 12 humanoid battle armors instantly appeared on top of the Zishangwan city wall. Be bold. Which country are you from that dares to destroy our Zishangwan defensive shield at will? Did they destroy the barrier? Haha, you guys, when did someone from the lower 9th realm dare to yell at us? After a while, several old men flew in from a distance. Everyone looked at these people in surprise, and they all guessed which country they were from. It was impossible for the demon from outside the territory to fly towards them so blatantly. The soldiers guarding the city couldn't help but feel curious as they watched the 12 points of light flashing in the dark night sky. These old men are all 9th level professionals. When the 12 light spots got closer, everyone could see their appearance clearly. He didn't care whose descendants these people were, he had to teach them a lesson today. They saw 12 humanoid armors over 1 meter tall, like Iron Man, flying towards them. He seemed to be saying that we broke the broken barrier they made. What the hell is this? A blond old man flew over from the city and stared at the 12 people with an unkind expression. Every time the alarm sounds, it means that the extraterrestrial demons have begun to attack Tianguan again. Don't worry about anything, sound the alarm first. A cold drink sounded. What it is?